Hello, welcome back to VegPlot and welcome back to my garden. We're in the polytunnel again today. We're going to be doing the tomatoes at last, and we have quite a few here. They're in flower and yeah, there's lots to do. So if you remember in the last video we had all the drip lines up and I've prepared all that ground nearly. We've had the parsley out apart from 2 plants. So what I've done is I've gone and purchased some of this. This is a Westland farmyard manure type compost, and it's really quite nice. It's kind of fluffy and has got manure in it. It really has that sort of manure-y honk. It's quite nice actually. Anyway, so I've got myself, I think, 6 bags of that, and that is going to go on these beds. But before we do that, I was just going to have a quick talk about the tomatoes that we're growing this year, just in case you're interested. We've got some dwarf varieties this year, which is new for me. I haven't grown these before, and these are an F1 actually, so breaking away from the heirloom, but these are called Cherry Falls, and they're a small sort of hanging basket patio tub tomato. Anyway, these are going to go up in the polytunnel in some grow bags, in some water troughs. The difference with these compared to the heirlooms that I've got here is because these are miniature, you don't bother breaking out all the little branches that appear in these leaf nodes here, so just leave them to do their own thing. So they're quite hassle-free, which is quite nice, to be honest. I've got some other sort of dwarf varieties. These have been bred by a grower in Canada, and these are called Uluru Ochre. So yeah, this again is another sort of dwarf variety, not quite coming into flower like the Cherry Falls yet. But yeah, again, you don't have to pick out the little branches in the leaf nodes here, just let them do their own thing. And then I've got my favourites. These are my favourite F1, that is. These are honeycomb. Don't know if you've grown them before, but they're a beautiful yellowy orange golden little cherry tomato, and they are so interesting in their flavour. They're not just sweet, although they are very sweet. They have all sorts of other little subtle flavours in there too, so really nice. But they're not a dwarf, and so you do need to take out these little branches in the side arms here, just to make sure that they grow up and give you as many lovely trusses as possible. But they're flowering already, which is really nice. Now most of the others, these along here, these 2 bays, these are all going into the polytunnel, and these are all heirloom tomatoes. There's everything from Kaleidoscopic Jewel, Alice's Dream, which is one of my favourites, Summer of Love, which was delicious last year, and then I've also got some new ones like Sun Gold Select, which is a heritage sort of sun gold type variety, Black Russian, Lucid Gem. There's a whole range in here. So we're going to lay them all out on the beds after we put the manure down. I'm going to feed the beds as well. It's quite good to do that, to make sure you've got enough sort of food and nutrients in the soil, because the compost that the tomatoes are in will last about 4 to 6 weeks apparently, and then it needs replenishing. So I'm going to be topping up with some organic fertilizer. This is chicken manure pellets. If you haven't used them before, they're like a hard pellet, and you can sprinkle them about a handful or 2 per metre. And then the other one I'm using is a natural plant food, fish blood and bone. And again, probably best to use gloves when you use these and wash your hands afterwards. But yeah, this is another fairly low, well balanced NPK fertilizer, which again is about a handful per metre squared. So I should be putting 1 of each onto the beds and mixing it in as we go. How are your record books doing? For everyone who's bought a record book, and thank you so much for your support, everybody. I hope you're finding them useful. As I have said in my little notes to you, if you've got any questions, obviously let me know. But I just wanted to show you mine. This is what we've got going at the moment. And this is the plan for the tomatoes. And you can see I've laid out everything so I know what goes where. I've got watermelons in the middle and some aubergines and things. So that's how I'm planning the polytunnel. And then this is how I'm planning the greenhouse. So that's how I've done mine. I'd be really interested to see, and do share with me screenshots or anything of what you're doing with yours this year. I'd love to see them. But yeah, that really helps me know what goes where, what I grew last year, what I really liked, etc, etc, and I can keep a record nice and easily. And if you're interested in any of these, I've redesigned them, added more pages, made the cover tougher, and it's been renamed to the Kitchen Garden Planner and Record Book. So you can get that on my website, veggieplot.uk, if you're interested. But yeah, that's the record book. I've also been working on the greenhouse today, tidying all that up, and I've got my grow bags here ready to go up there. So I've got to have a quick tidy up, do these beds, and then we'll get on and start planting. And I'll show you how I plant the tomatoes, how deep I plant them, and I take off leaves and things like that, and where they're going to root and so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll have a look at that in just a minute when I've done these beds. This is a really exciting time of year, isn't it? I mean, I mentioned in the last video that I'm sort of a little bit behind and I've got that sort of FOMO thing going on, but I'm catching up. And as some of you very kindly put in the comments, there's nothing to worry about. You just got to go at your own pace and not worry about anything. Just do it when you're ready. So anyway, these are the chicken manure pellets. So I'm just going to just sort of sprinkle them around on the surface, and then I shall be putting the fish bud and bone on too. That's about three handfuls per 1.5 metre length here. Right, that's that side done, and now we'll I'm using a glove and now we'll use the fish blood and bone. Just do 2 per section, I think, of this. The thing to remember about these sorts of fertilizers is that if you put too much on and they come in contact with the roots, you can actually burn the roots and damage your plants. So it's always a good idea not to err on the cautious than sort of be a bit too generous. I did that once before many years ago when I was doing a garden, putting too much fertilizer, and it ruined a lot of the plants. So it's well worth being more on the subtle side than on the over generous side when I'm putting in your fertilizers. It's 29.9, 30 degrees at the moment. So yeah, quite warm in here at the minute. But before I get confused with all of these tomatoes, I want to take some of them up to the greenhouse. I thought you'd show you it anyway, but yeah, I put the ones to go up there in this tray, so as long as I don't drop them, they all don't fall out, we'll be okay. Right, this is where my water servicing comes in useful. So yeah, it was quite busy up in the greenhouse this morning. I had to stop around lunchtime because it was absolutely crazy, but it's hot. There it is. Oh. And yeah, but I've had all the stuff out and I've cleaned it all, and so it's all looking rather splendid at the moment. You see everything's looking nice and clean. So I think what we'll do is we'll put these in here because this is going to be their home. These are all going to go in around the edges in these water containers with grow bags on. I'll show you some in a minute, but I can get 2 on the side there, 1 there, and then we can get another 2 on this side. So, and I might have some mini plants in my waters in the middle. That's the plan anyway, but it's so nice to have a clean greenhouse. So yeah, you can see it's been chaos here today, but these are the waterers, so they're all drying out and they should be ready for later on tomorrow, probably the weekend. I shall get on and put those tomatoes in the greenhouse. It shall give us a good new covering to the bed. It's amazing actually, isn't it, how a fresh bed of compost or layer of compost on a bed can make you feel a whole lot better. Amazing, just it looks so neat and fresh and sort of healthy and ready to go. Anyway, it's all a bit weird, that, isn't it? A bit nerdy. Anyway, I was just looking at this and realised that there are 2 types of pepper, a purple sweet bell and a Kotowska KPO, which didn't actually germinate this year. And so on this side, I had space for 2 different types of plants. So I've actually got extra aubergine black beauty, and I've decided to put them here because they like a lot of warmth and a lot of sunshine. So they're going to be here and get full-on sun most of the day, and they should fill up this gap quite nicely. Anyway, so that's the Black Beauty, and I've got 3 more going in up there. But these did germinate, and these are Pepper Ingrid, and these were from She Grows Veg. They're a dark purple sweet pepper, like a bell pepper. Again, sown on the 7th of March, but they're not looking too bad, so they'll be all right in there. I've just got to sort all the tomatoes out now, lay them in position. I've realised that some of them really are quite tall, and although they're going to be buried a little bit, yeah, they're beginning to get going, so these are really desperate to get in the ground now. Right, I'm going to get on, sort all these out, lay them out, and then yeah, we'll see how we're doing. Before doing the tomatoes, I'm going to actually get these plants in. So yeah, these are the Aubergine Black Beauty. I'm just going to gently tip it up. It's got some very fine roots on the bottom there, so it's probably good to go in, I think. So what I'm going to do is just going to make a hole, and then I'll water in the hole, and then just drop this out and gently place it in the hole. There we go. Push that in around the edge. And that's the first thing planted in the polytunnel, which is really exciting. Really good. Anyway, just remember to put the label in, and hopefully we will have some really nice aubergines this year, because I don't know about you, but when I was a kid I really didn't like aubergines. Those big black ones. I don't know if it was just the way my parents cooked them or something, but yeah, ever since the last few years since I've been growing them, really just love them. Just cut them into big slices and fry them off in a very hot pan with some oil and stuff, and so they're slightly charred, and then you put them into vegetable lasagna or something there. They're just amazing, really nice. Right, I'm going to get on, plant all these and the peppers and stuff, and then we'll get on to the tomatoes. Right, we're getting there. We've got some of the tomatoes in on this side. Well, all the tomatoes that are going to go in on this side are in. Got the Black Beauty at the back, the Ingrid peppers, which are a dark pepper from She Grows Veg there, and some more aubergines Black Beauty at the back here with the tomatoes. And I've started tomatoes off on this side. Yeah, so still a few to go, but I just thought I'd show you how I'm doing these tomatoes. Because they're planted quite deep and you don't want the lower leaves touching the soil too much, I'm removing the lower 3 leaves, branches here, and then planting quite deep right into the soil. And then some people say that actually these hairs create roots, but that isn't actually true. You can see the hairs here. It's these sort of lumpy bits that are on the stem. That's where the roots will come out from. You can see them up the stem. And so this plant will root out from these points and make, give it more roots in the ground, which means it can find more food, and therefore in theory it should be a stronger plant. So that's why I plant them a bit deeper. And then I'm going to have a whole load of plants left over. I've got all of these left over, so I might try growing some outside this year. I'm sure they will suffer from blight. I might try giving some away as well, see if I can do that. But other than that, we're nearly there. We've seen the leeks. They're coming on great guns, aren't they? Really looking good there. And the dahlias are all shooting up. I think obviously the little sunflowers are getting their roots down. I've still got the basil to prick out and do, but the sunflowers are coming up. These are for shoots, and the peas I believe also coming up for shoots. That's good. And the rest of the dahlias all beginning to shoot up, so we'll be able to do lots of cuttings from them soon, so that'll be great. And then I'm going to put them up in the allotment, this one near home. Okay, right, that's been a lovely day. I will see you soon, and bye for now.